As an American, before we get to the fact I'm a black man, the civil rights movement happened, people have died and courageously fought, walked across bridges in Selma, my own grandmother marched in Alabama. Before we get to that, this country is started as an act of political protest. Right. This country is started as an act. And I'll be damned if I don't encourage every friend of mine to vote based on the fact of we should be honoring that. If it should almost be like a religion to be a part of the political process in this country because it transforms.
It strikes me that if you don't participate in the political process, you're really crapping on people.
The English language, man, sometimes, you know, I'm a somewhat articulate person.
For an average guy.
I mean, depends on how much pot I smoke that day, but...
Isn't pot supposed to make you more articulate?
Sometimes it does for me. It depends on, I mean, if I really want to get into this, depends on what you're getting. You know, it's a crop, it's a plant, and if I have some street meat in New York that's spoiled...
You got non-specific traveler's diarrhea. Yeah, it was the street falafel. I'm almost positive.
Or if I was one of those people in Chipotle out in Washington, you know, I'm gonna get dookied on big time. I'm gonna be hurting. So
Chipotle?
Yeah, like they got all the E. coli. I mean, there was an E. coli outbreak. Lots of people they were feeling the wrath of Chipotle, and I like Chipotle, man. It's got me thinking about it, and it's like I eat there a lot. If I'm like on the road.
You just got swooned by Chipotle.
Chipotle, I'm like, come on. And especially in those states, you know, I wouldn't, there's a lot of foodies in Washington. I wouldn't imagine their Chipotle to have E. coli. I expect that in like Alabama. Sorry, Alabama, but that's just how it would.
Would you rather masturbate with the piece of dog shit you picked up or
what I want to get back to,
a bunch of E. coli you knew was, or a bunch of Chipotle you knew had E. coli in it?
Wait, okay. Say that one more time.
That's a tough question.
Because I just had a thought pop into my head, and I tried cutting you off.
Would you rather use as penile lube a piece of dog shit, innocuous and benign, or a big Chipotle burrito, both steaming hot, but not too hot?
This is like
that you knew was infected with E. coli.
But
the one that you didn't, the one that you didn't use, you had to eat the other one. That's a tough set of equations to work your mind around. Doesn't do much for the libido.
I don't even know if I want to say this on camera, but I guess I have to. You posed the question. I can't leave you hanging.
You can edit it out.
We might have to edit this one out. We'll have to see. We'll have to have a couple different cuts because this
is really getting into some.
This is getting into some
vulnerable territory.
Yeah. You can. People might want to recommend I see a shrink. I probably masturbate with the dookie. I don't want to get. Well, I don't know. Like E. coli. I would have no problem doing it with E. coli if I knew that I was. It's not going into my system if I'm using it to jack off. But then I would have to eat the dog shit. Is that what you're saying?
It's a tough question.
Dude, that is the worst question I've ever heard.
I think it's a great question.
It's a great question because it's really got me thinking.
Stack of questions with no answers.
If these were the only choices you had. I mean,
tough question.
So at that point, it's like, oh, that is a nice looking tree. Look at that, the fire. You see that little small guy?
Sticking out there.
It's like 70 degrees today, and what is it,
beautiful.
November
it's a beautiful day.
6th?
Something like that.
Is it the 5th? No. It's the 5th of November. Remember, the 5th of November.
I thought that was the 11th of November. Armistice Day.
V for Vendettas, they like 5th of November. It rhymes. I don't know if it's real. The Guy Fawkes, Parliament.
I haven't seen the movie.
Ooh, boy, you're missing out. That is a good movie.
So I've heard.
It's a nice house. Dude, we're cruising. We've been to a lot of places. How you doing on gas?
I'm very low.
You should probably take care of that.
We'll get there.
If I eat the Chipotle, I'm getting diarrhea. So but I'm going to get diarrhea either way because I'm eating dog shit.
I don't know if it causes diarrhea?
It's gotta make me feel not good. It's not. I can't even think about it anymore.
No, okay, we'll
it's
change the
killing me.
subject.
Dog shit, eating any type of shit. You ever heard a dude say?
This is loud.
You ever hear a dude say when he sees like a smoking hot girl? Oh wait, I think maybe it was who was telling me this. Someone he was working with mentioned this to him.
Who?
I know, I used his name already. But this doesn't involve, he does not do anything bad in this situation. He's just hearing the story.
Really beside the point.
He's just hearing the story.
He's already bad because you're already It's not that he's done anything bad, it's that you're associating him with you. And
Which
you're
is-
on this show talking about jerking off with pieces of shit.
That is very true. So, hey, if anyone subscribes to Guilty by Association, they can suck it, okay? Fuck that. I'm not with that. Just saying. I should be able to talk about him and you should not judge him. But that's not how the world works. I understand this. I don't subscribe to these
okay.
ludicrous ideas. But anyways, something about like, man, I would eat the peanuts out of her shit.
Oh,
like,
no, I can tell you who invented that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
no,
blew my
okay,
mind
no.
when I heard that. I'm like, oh my god.
The person, and the phrase, oh yeah, I would eat the
What would
peanuts out
this
of her
chick
shit.
think if she heard you say that? She might be turned on by
Depends
it.
what she was into, I suppose.
Scatologically. She's
But
scatologically inclined.
You know who coined that phrase, or where I first heard that, and I can guarantee you that
He doesn't care.
our mutual friend got it from him. He's in a family. You know one of his brothers very well, and the other one of his brothers spent
He's
a lot
in
of
a
time
family.
in a lot of. Let me finish. You're gonna get
He's
it.
in a
I'm
family.
mid-sentence. I didn't just
I'm
say
sorry,
she's
I know.
26.
I'm guilty all the time of that.
Um,
Nondescript language.
Oh.
Ooh, you're good. You good.
First gear up a hill.
How many
So,
miles on the Aerostar now? Not even 100,000, right?
81,859.
I wish I was
Can I
there.
finish here?
I'm sorry.
So, in this family, you know one of the brothers very well. The other brother spent a lot of time in Farkle Park.
Ooh. Whoa, okay. One more time. I know.
Your mother, in particular, is very good friends with one of the brothers.
Oh.
The other brother
Exactly.
spent
We're
a lot
good.
of time in Farkle
We're
Park,
good.
and
We're
he's
good.
the other brother.
We're good. I got you. Yeah, that's where that's the person who told our mutual friend. Yeah, that's a good one.
It is.
If you get
it is
down
a
with
good,
that,
it is a good
I mean,
line.
For
it says something-
locker room talk.
It
It's
says-
like I would.
It says a lot about dedication.
Yeah. I'm so dedicated to your beauty that like the grossest,
We're not
most
saying
vile things about you, I would love to ingest.
Well, but you could take that two certain ways. Maybe the last thing you ever want to do on the face of the earth is eat the peanuts out of someone's shit. But that's you're not saying it doesn't have to necessarily be like a sexual fetish.
On
or
a positive
perversion.
note, you're still eating peanuts. I mean,
You could say so many other things that would express the same amount of dedication to that person. This is just a particularly creative and maybe slightly off-kilter way to phrase that.
totally. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm not gonna add it to the repertoire, but I think it gives a nice chuckle, and it's descript and gets the point across pretty clearly of the intentions and the dedication.
I would agree.
I'm glad we hashed that out.
Yeah.
Hashtag downtown Browntown.
Oh, we don't get into hashtags.
Well, you don't.
That's true.
I could hash some
You can
tags.
You hash as many tags as you want. Hash away. You know this new hashtag? This is speaking of dangerous territory, this new hashtag, We Are Cooperstown.
Oh yeah.
Hashtag We Are Cooperstown.
Yeah, it's just like this is our town. These are pictures of it. You could post stuff that we are Cooperstown and
I should. I guess that's the ultimate question in life is, do I want to toss my hat into this ring,
yeah, and see how
or do
they
I just
react.
or do I just want to kind of watch you guys all toss your hats into the ring?
Exactly. Do I want to analyze and make fun of and
Well, do I want to participate?
Yeah, exactly. But if you're not participating and it's something that's out there and it gets traction, you're gonna analyze it and judge it. That's what people do. You know what I mean? Like, I should go this way.
Wait, say this again.
By not
Develop this
participating,
thought.
you know what I mean? By not participating, then a lot of people who don't participate in something but still comment, and that activity is a topic of discussion, you know, that's typically what they do, is they'll talk about something that they want to participate in. Maybe you want to participate in We Are Cooperstown, you know, maybe not, but by throwing your hat in there, you can see, you know, because like if you get them to follow you, right? I think what they do is they retweet and repost things that people take about Cooperstown, you know, hashtags, or I know they're following like some young athletes and stuff in Cooperstown, and like they follow my business. So they'll take your stuff and repost it. So by you participating, you can see the type of Cooperstown that they're trying to portray and paint, is what I'm saying. If you want to like, and I'm talking about the proverbial you, not necessarily you, but like if somebody in Hartwick wants to like post like a Bush Light, Natty Light, 30 rack like on their shoulder,
and they have to hashtag We Are Hartwick.
Yeah, they could. Maybe you could do that in Cooperstown. I've done that in Cooperstown. I know a lot of people have done this in Cooperstown. You could hashtag that or at We Are Cooperstown and see if they put the ball in their court. By participating, that's what you do. And you can see, you know, because everybody's trying to paint some image. Everyone's trying to paint their poop a different color, but really, you just need to embrace the brown. You know?
That's pretty good. What if I was like, what if I were to say, you know, well, I think Cooperstown's a really shitty town.
Yeah, you could say that. And you're probably not going to get any love from
But why not?
that group.
Why not? If is it my fault that they don't understand that when I say shitty, I usually mean something that's very near and dear to me?
Yeah, that's a good point there. Yeah, because you have a different...
Would you say that you cared about people particularly?
Well, yeah, but you know, I mean, we all have our own definitions of all those words.
It's gray. Poop and shit is gray.
Who is we when you say
It's gray.
we are
What it means to
Cooperstown?
people, you can say, man, that's the shit. Like, that's the top, that's an interesting slang that I know I use, and I know a lot of people will use, or like, I don't...
The word shit?
Well, shit in just various formats in different, you know, context and different tones. Is what we were talking about earlier. It's
You know what you don't hear people say a lot? That shit was diarrhea.
That shit was diarrhea. Yeah, that's how quantifiable this shit was. That it was diarrhea, like explosive. It was off the charts. I get it. I like that. That's nice. So
What does off the charts mean exactly?
Off the charts means you can't measure it. It's like time. We can try to understand it and make it understand for us. But we don't really understand it completely.
That's pretty good.
You know,
What would diarrhea that's off the charts look like?
I feel like it'd be that Montezuma's Revenge, like very painful and explosive, and various occurrences throughout the day. Kind of like what you and
So was the falafel that you ate really good? Yeah, the falafel in Egypt. So was it fantastic? Was it worth the diarrhea? No, I don't know. On an economic spectrum? No, I don't think. I spent probably 2 weeks. Whoa. Yeah, it was non-specific.
yeah, he was on the Brown Hour.
Yeah. You would say another guest that was on
Another
the Brown
guest that was on the Brown Hour.
That happens to work for the CDC.
So it happens to work for the CDC. I got to get better at this. I just
All
gotta
right,
start
don't-
recording
don't-
myself
don't
more.
beat yourself up.
I'm gonna create a dash cam podcast. That's what you actually should really do.
What the fuck do you think this is?
No, but like daily.
You know what you should do? You should really drive around in a van and talk to people and film it while you're doing it.
I just had a fucking taco moment.
What does that mean?
Another reference to that television show, The League.
Oh.
stereotypical stoner moment. But the question is, I'm worried if by recording and capturing your experience and it, you know, capturing your essence in that moment, does that eventually, by doing it a lot, does that make you a narcissist? Eventually, is that line
I think
you
we
cross?
as a society have
I feel like
passed
I'm
the
on the
narcissism threshold a long time ago.
Yeah, but it's like it's again tonals, and it's a scale of like gray in a sense. Like I don't post selfies like a lot of people on social media, like a ton of them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like there's people that do that every day. Like I stray from being on the side of the camera that's capturing, or be the object that's being captured by the camera.
Well, that's the funny thing about a selfie.
I
is
prefer
it's like
to
a
be less
vacuum.
of that. I want to be the person. Yeah, exactly. You're operating the camera, but you're also the object. So for me, I personally am not my muse. There's other things that are my muse, you know, and that's why I think.
That's why I
But
don't like
me
selfies.
capturing them
I feel like it's very important.
is the conduit, and they are the information that's being traveled, you know, that's traveling across that electrical current and being delivered somewhere else to get an experience.
I'll never get bored of listening to people talk about why they don't like selfies.
Yeah. But I have to say, like, I use Snapchat. I think it's funny. I think it's fun, and like that goes away. You know, they can replay it like once, but
Let's talk about Snapchat for a second, because another mutual friend of ours who's also on the show, who lives in California.
yeah, he's the origin story of Snapchat.
And what was
Did
it
he
called?
tell you about that? Dickaboo. It was originally called Dickaboo. Yeah, this is a great story because of back to the NFL being basically shadow government. They are everything. They created this. Brett Favre sent a dick pic to a reporter. You know, he's an idiot. He's old. He was like 45 years old, so he doesn't understand his smartphone. That's really what it was. That's my theory. I think Brett Favre was like 43 sending dick pics to
What didn't he understand?
that chick. I don't think he really understood like how you could store
Maybe she won't know it's a
text
penis.
messages. Yeah. Maybe she'll look through the penis and see my Crocs that were in the. Apparently, he was wearing Crocs in the picture.
Maybe that's how kids define true love these days.
Yeah.
Did he put it in a hot dog bun?
I don't think so. I think it was just in his hands, and it was like swollen member, and then he snapped a picture of it. And he must have. Obviously, he was in leisure mode because he was wearing Crocs. You know. So I think that was.
I think there's some.
I mean, you can get some
Crocs
work done
may,
in some Crocs.
Crocs may take some.
Brett Favre to me is not wearing Crocs going to like the corner store. You know. I bet he doesn't even go to
That's
the corner store.
I think a lawyer would say objection, conjecture.
Objection, conjecture. But we'll see. If you want to, I'll hire a PI to follow him, and we'll see where he wears his Crocs. I think he does it.
It's very important.
Yeah, I think he wears his Crocs when he's comfortable, you know. He's probably laying on the couch or
You'd
something
have to
and
be
got
pretty
like a
comfortable
boner.
when you're about to do that.
Yeah. I mean, come on. So, I think, so Brett Favre basically
Maybe a
sent a
little too
dick
comfortable.
pic, got in trouble. It was a thing because this chick created a harassment lawsuit, I think. If not, she definitely used
So it was unsolicited.
I think it was, yeah. For the most part, I think it was unsolicited.
For the most part.
You never know. There's not
a lot of gray area between send me a picture of your dick and don't.
She could have. Who knows? Maybe she could have been flirtatious when she was interviewing him. She was the Jets
Yeah,
reporter.
but being
She would do
flirtatious isn't send me a picture of your penis, please.
Yeah. Exactly. Which, when it comes down to it, you can't really. You're jumping to conclusions. You need a little bit more to go on. But I bet Brett Favre in the past has not had. He's gotten that to work for sure. You had to imagine. I guarantee you he's.
What, like the picture went through?
Yeah, the dick pic went to the chick, and then she wanted to have sex with him, and then she didn't expose him for being a creep. But whatever. I mean, I think they have $1 billion valuation, Snapchat. So he created a whole industry off of dick pics. So back to the selfie thing. I like Snapchat because obviously I know they have to store that on some type of server. Like, there's no way my pictures aren't stored for like a few days, maybe even a few weeks. But I do think eventually they flush it out. I don't know why they wouldn't. It saves server space, and it gives your customers what they want, you know, which is, you know, autonomy. So
Privacy.
privacy, yeah, autonomy, yeah, exactly. Privacy would be better. For sure. So yeah, you want I like the privacy of it because I'm not trying to broadcast to everybody like, hey, here's my face.
Pick 'em up, bodies laying in the dew, they didn't do enough. MC spitting low fire, no lie, didn't know the mic be the fire burning in my eye. Yeah, you pick 'em up.
Like, here's a selfie, and then inspirational quote, like my picture. Like, there's a lot of women that, in particular, because I think men are disgusting. They're disgusting human beings. You know, I find the woman to be just
You have a very interesting take on it.
exquisite. So, Instagram models, you know, product placement with like workout supplements. That's like a huge thing. Since I've gotten onto Instagram, I've been noticing that. Like, you'll see a very good-looking chick who's like an on-screen personality, and like she's really getting paid like $3,000 for posts. She collects, you know, a database or, you know, a subscription pool. You know, she has, maybe this woman has 30,000 followers. I mean, now you can advertise to those 30,000 people. That's what Instagram's being used for.
It's kind of smart though, isn't it? Like,
it's insidious advertising, and it's kind of what we want as the consumer in some way. Like, we get offended when they're like, are you fucking serious? Look at this commercial, like this Kraft macaroni commercial, like telling me that in a really transparent way, that they're transparently lying to me.
What do you mean?
They're so bad, they're not even trying to hide this. I get offended sometimes by ads like that.
Well,
but I also love
lying
them.
to you.
Yeah, they are, because the copy and the script that they're talking about is saying shit that I know McDonald's, they don't have artisan like wraps or burgers.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
No, I like that, transparently lying.
Yeah. So it's like, clearly I know they're lying to me, and they're, you know, they're trying to.
But think about it from that model
Mask it.
standpoint.
I
Like,
understand.
that model, maybe she's, all things being equal, everything
things
else
being
aside, that woman is basically a prostitute who doesn't have to take her clothes off or have sex with people she doesn't want to have sex with.
Pretty great for her.
Now,
And
I'm
it's
not
great
saying
for-
that some
and people
prostitutes
make out
don't
too.
enjoy having sex and that's part of the job and they like it. I'm not saying
The
any
problem
of that.
of
But
that-
I'm saying, like, from her standpoint, this is an effective business model for her.
Yeah.
And she needs.
And
she,
I have
people need
I
to,
have no
people
problem.
need to pay the heat.
No problem with that at all. I think that's totally cool. But I think culturally it creates.
What
some
does it say
issues.
about our? What does it say
and
about
so-
our sort of like desperate,
Like
our materialistic
a
desperation?
chick that's so into herself like that she's so narcissistic.
But is she really that? But that's my question. Is she really narcissistic,
Oh, I bet
or is
she's
she
very
doing
insecure,
it to try?
because I bet you, like, she'll be taking thousands of pictures to get that perfect shot. I bet there's a lot of, maybe she won't eat as much to look good for this shot, so she can, you know.
You're talking about a post that you saw, because I saw this girl that was talking about, I had to take this many pictures to make my stomach look right.
Yeah,
She was trying to lifting the veil on all these sort of like Instagram.
Yeah, for me personally, that was
Not on the people themselves, but
that
on the
veil
actual-
was not lifted for me at all. I already knew that, but it was great for her, for somebody that does that was involved in that, to tell people.
Well,
like,
yeah, lifting the veil to a wider audience. I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah, that was good. That girl was dope. So yeah, exactly. And then, like, what is it like to interact with that person, that type of person? I don't really know what it's like. I don't have any friends that are
every
social media
individual is
stars,
different.
but you know.
But it's really just a job.
It's paradigm
isn't it?
shifting.
But isn't it
how
really
it's
just a
doing.
job?
It is just a job, but it's different because it's.
So how can you say with any amount of certainty whether that person's insecure or not? You know, like, you don't know.
Yeah, maybe one is. Maybe you can't generalize and say that doing this makes you insecure.
Right.
Maybe it's the complete opposite. Maybe getting all this attention and validation for how indeed beautiful this woman is, you know, she gets more confidence from it, and it's, you know, the opposite. She doesn't feel bad about herself. She feels great about herself. So it's an interesting situation. Instagram's a crazy place. It's creating a crazy world. So this brings us full circle to that conversation that we're still having about this, like what this is, the Brown Hour, a podcast.
Downtown Browntown.
I keep saying Brown Hour. God, it's definitely been a few
they're both
hours.
great programs.
We're literally driving downtown in Browntown, and that's a big faux pas. My bad.
What is? Oh no, it's fun.
Yeah, downtown Browntown.
No, not at all. I mean,
Everything's brown. It's
anytime
all
you
brown.
utter the word the Brown Hour, it's the phrase the Brown Hour.
I really want to
Probably
like
a faux pas.
get some work done in town eventually, but I'm wearing this. I can't
Get
go
some
to
work
the
done.
store.
What are you gonna do? Nose, tits, butt?
Yeah. Oh, gotta resculpt a couple things. I want to get some butt implants. Get that juicy booty.
I heard butt reductions are really big now.
Really? I can see how some need a butt reduction. That booty too big, too bouncy. Reduce
Is that
that
a song?
shit. I don't know. It could be. I think it just became one. This is fun, man. I'd like to come back on the downtown Browntown eventually. Maybe in. Do you think a downtown Browntown would ever happen, like in outside of Cooperstown, or do you think it's gonna?
Well, that's a very good question. I think I would like it to stay in an Aerostar, but
That's true. You could.
if
move
another
it.
Aerostar were to happen to fall into my possession in or
that's the
around
thing. Do
Buffalo,
you just keep it an Aerostar sponsored, program?
well, sponsored isn't the right word, but I think
Well, without the Aerostar's well, that's actually false.
participation is
Yeah.
a better word.
Yeah, that's-
I would like it to be an Aerostar format.
Yeah, exactly.
The format, I think,
Platform
should involve an
for-
Aerostar somehow.
For delivering downtown Browntown.
I
So we
think-
are officially we're downtown.
We are downtown. We are downtown Browntown.
I'll never forget the notice I got when I was living in Georgia.
Mhm.
Because this was.
Oh, that's what we should talk about. I have to say that. Sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but you were maybe the first person to set eyes upon the Aerostar, other than obviously its previous life. But
Of course.
you were instrumental, and
That's
I don't have the words to describe it. You and another friend of ours who.
He drove her.
Who drives
He
race
drove her.
cars.
Yeah, he's a baller. He was the
You
real
too,
hero.
and I have to thank you for that, because without you, the Aerostar, we would not be sitting here in the Aerostar right now.
Yeah.
And that's a fact.
Wow. So
I
Did I-
don't know
I
if I've ever
played-
formally thanked you.
I
but-
played a role in downtown Browntown in a sense, right?
Well, aside from coming on the show today, yeah, you played a
Yeah.
tremendous role.
Exactly. Wow.
You.
Shit, okay. I'm feeling good now.
I'm trying to form a proper analogy. You kind of like, how there's like a chicken or the egg. It's kind of like there's like a beef stew and a big diarrhea. You ate the beef stew that became the big diarrhea. That is what we're doing right now.
I didn't know where you were going with that at first, but I kind of like that. I like that a lot.
Now, who cooked up that beef stew? We may never know.
I think Ford.
Okay, fair enough.
I think
Fair
Ford
enough.
cooked up that stew.
Ford cooked up that big beef stew.
A handsome, dashing Ford Aerostar for 1989. It's really quite a van about town. Traveling with the sports crowd. Playing the market. Escorting ladies. Pulling its own weight. Staying out all night. And powering its way to the top. Ford Aerostar. It's in a class by itself.
And then Alabama preserved her essence.
Yep.
This is an 1986
1986.
Ford Aerostar.
Yep. First year of production.
They don't make them
Before they worked out all the kinks.
Actually, I don't think they just don't make them.
No, they don't make them anymore. But they made over 1 million of them. Can you believe that?
I know. I remember
God knows
a
how many are
time
left.
in the 90s, like being on the highway as a kid. You know, I'm obviously in a vehicle, not just not just walking
Remember
around.
as a child strolling around the highway?
But yeah, you know, just looking out the windows and seeing Aerostars. A lot of them passing the vehicle I was in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, when they got that Vulcan V6, it was all over.
game, set, match.
Yeah, it's a fairly distinctive,
Look at those vanity
fairly
plates.
distinct.
HWS, like, okay. Recognize.
Highway shit.
That'd be a nice reference, because I mean that's happened a lot. A lot of people have experienced the highway shit. Actually, I was in.
I know.
I got a texting ticket recently. I can't really get any more tickets because I kind of need a license. That'd be nice.
How many points do you have?
Dude, I've had a bad go of it, and like I'm not a bad driver. I've never been in an accident. I've been driving cars since I was like 12 years old. Like obviously not. I was illegally driving on the roads around here when I was 15, for sure. I remember a couple times taking my mother's van when she was out with my father, and
What kind of van?
probably a Town and Country. It was a Town and Country. And yeah, my sister and I. It was when wasn't in. He doesn't care if I say his name. I'm gonna keep stumbling when I drop names.
Is that the mayor?
It looks like him. It's yeah, my brother.
It's not, is it?
No, it's not him.
Oh, bummer. That would be a great chance encounter. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, my brother. He. Where was I? I lost my thread. Where was I going with this? We were talking about.
You were driving around illegally on the highway when you
Yeah,
were
my brother
12.
wasn't around. You know, he was in college, so and I was at the age where I couldn't drive yet, but so he couldn't drive us around. So I drove my sister and I like to Pizza Hut a few times.
Good place to go.
Yeah, like 15. So yeah, basically I've had a rough go of it. I got 2 tickets in like I want to say 10 days. Driving to Ithaca and back for work, speeding tickets.
This is just recently.
Back roads. This was like in May. Then our distributors down in the city.
What were the tickets for? Speeding?
Speeding. Had my cruise control on. I was doing like 74 in a 65 going downhill. You know, that type of shit. Not driving dangerously. Totally just cruising. No one around. Stadies were hanging out. So we got 2 of those. And then
Why didn't you just tell him you were about to defecate in your pants? You had horrible diarrhea from the Chipotle.
I wish I
you
did.
just ate.
I wish I did.
That seems like a great excuse, doesn't it?
Except if you still get the ticket, then that's written. Actually, at that point, I
That's
would love
even
to have
better.
that written in the. Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, what am
that's
I
like-
talking about? If
that's
that's
like-
written in the report.
That's like Johnny
perfect.
Cash's mugshot.
Oh, and Steve-O from Jackass. I heard him on Rogan's podcast the other day, and he's doing stand-up now.
Mm-hmm. I like
He's,
Steve-O. I like both those guys.
He stole a joke from an internet meme, but it was like we were back to dick pics. This girl was saying, when I get a dick pic, I feel like it's like when my cat brings me a dead mouse. It's like they're proud, but I don't want to touch it.
It's a great analogy.
Really good analogy. And I had to say, some girls probably like the dick pic, but not all of them. Probably the majority.
Especially
don't
when
like
it's
them.
unsolicited.
See, I feel like more.
Never
I
sent.
feel like dudes would be more your average guy, which I am. Is
Right,
more
we've
likely,
established that. Very
which is
average guy.
more likely to take a picture of their balls and send it to a guy friend than
Right.
it is for them to send a dick pic to a chick. Because if he's an average guy, he knows that he's an average guy. So
Well, that'd be
his
funny
body
is
doesn't look as good to a woman
starting
as his body.
Starting a trend
her
of,
body looks to him.
of sending testicle pictures. To
I'm in a
to
group
a
text
woman.
that I've. Oh yeah, a test. There's actually a thing. I saw this on the internet. There is.
I mean, that's kind of more, if you think about it, like, and now, I'm not saying all women want to have children, but there is a stereotype that says that, and in briefly aligning with that stereotype for the sake of this joke, that's actually should be more attractive to the woman because that's the thing that's going to create the baby.
Exactly. But it's now
The dick is
penetrating.
the dick is merely a vessel.
No, the dick is the real conduit.
Right, but that
the
comes
dick is
down
the
to
conduit for the genetic
know you're all
data of the
about
balls.
conduits.
I'm telling you, we're
But-
all about the conduits.
But I'm
here.
saying that's like
the vessel, the messenger.
but that's like I suppose you're right. I guess it depends on kind of how existential the recipient of the picture
Well, I believe
is.
the vagine is just a dick that's split.
Well, the clitoris is
the tip of the dong.
Right. Same tissue, just
Yeah.
concentrated. It's just more
gotta be awesome
concentrated.
for them.
And I believe the labia are the same tissue as the testicles, and it kind of just splits in two. I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor, but
Don't say it.
I stayed
I know
at.
what you're gonna
I
say.
stayed at Cooperstown Motel.
Have you ever seen that shirt? I'm not a doctor, but I'll take a look anyways.
I love it. Those shirts make me laugh. I would never wear one, but I have to say, they're funny. Love
The
those
shirt?
shirts. I love those shirts. They're
FBI,
cheap. They're a cheap
FBI,
laugh. They're like
female
why
body
Jerry
inspector.
Seinfeld doesn't like using fuck or curse words. It's a cheat.
Well, I disagree with that. I think fuck can
I
be very...
do
think
too.
fuck
I
can be
disagree with
very,
that, but it's the same concept. You know what I mean?
You're
For me personally, like I see one of those shirts and I'm like, that is awesome. You have so much confidence. You are also a dipshit.
Confidence
but
is one word for it.
it's ignorance is bliss, encapsulated on a graphic tee, or it's like that's for me. It's
I guess so.
in a sense, it says a lot about your character.
That's true.
So you either don't give a fuck or you're just ignorant to the fact that that's not politically correct. But I like it because
politically correct. I don't mind anyone wearing that shirt.
it's
I'm
so
not
for
gonna
you
wear
it's
that
what's
shirt.
being
I
said
do
on
mind,
the shirt.
I do mind.
And
a
I
little
agree
bit.
with that.
I do mind a little bit.
Well,
No, it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
even. It's more of
It's-
a.
You want a more tasteful joke on the shirt? Because I'm more inclined to feel that way, actually. Like if it's a really cheap laugh, like
I'm not. I don't like.
I'll
not
laugh,
necessarily-
but
it's
I'm not. I
about
don't have that much
tastefulness.
respect for it.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
guess I don't have much respect for it.
So we should make some
Oh, it's all a
shirts
bunch
like
of
that
shit.
now.
Well, I would like
Some
to.
janky
My
shirts.
shit would be like.
We're downtown Browntown. You can make a nice.
I think you should.
I like
just-
some of the work I saw
I
on
think
the
you
site,
should
by
just-
the way.
on the
Is that all you
the website?
on DeWalt?
DeWaltSteel.com.
Yeah.
Downtown Browntown, brought to you by DeWaltSteel.com.
We should stop and get some bucklers while we're at it.
We can get bucklers. I gotta get gas.
Yeah, you're gonna run out of gas while we're sitting here.
That won't be a problem. It's the
Okay.
best place to run out of gas at
This
a
is-
gas pump.
Literally the best place.
Um,
I had to go to a body shop in South Bronx yesterday to
Why?
check my battery. I had a crazy day driving. It would have been very interesting if you did this and did what I did in the Aerostar. I think it would have been a very stressful day.
yeah, the Aerostar's had a couple stressful days.
I remember I had to move your car, and I don't drive stick.
Yeah.
And I moved this thing, drove it around the block on
Yeah.
Whitaker without
Yeah.
a license plate on it. Because I didn't want the dealer plate to get stolen.
Right.
So I was keeping
Again,
the Aerostar.
being very,
Yeah.
being very
Yeah, but you can't
conscientious.
but you can't leave like an unmarked car on a city street.
I mean, unless it's the Aerostar.
So I always parked on the street, and then the Aerostar for like 2 months
again,
had.
just completely selfless.
No, it was
complete
like a month.
abnegation.
Of course. Yeah, we would sit in the Aerostar, just roll the windows down, and just chill in the driveway.
What, you and our other mutual friend there?
Yeah,
The race car driver?
Yeah, race car driver and Jar Janky.
A fellow who really enjoys eating Golden Grams cereal.
I'll never be able to eat Golden Grams without thinking of him. I love it.
Too.
All right, get your gas.
Shout out to that.
Shout out.
Shout out to that person.
Shout out in due time. Always come into my consciousness. I'll be doing stuff, or I'll be like stressing about something, and I'll hear like in due time. I love it. It's great.
There's not a lot of. I don't know how to end the downtown Browntown. I say thank you and I shake your hand. But
Yeah, we've been
but
going
could-
for a while.
We're actually. I could say today that I have to get gas.
Yeah. It's a perfect place to end this.
It's a pretty good way to end it.
I mean, aside from like having to use a porta potty next to.
If I had to shit, it'd be better.
There's a porta potty
but
right here.
I just have to get gas.
Yeah, exactly. Well, man, thanks for having me on. That was a pleasure.
Thank you.
I know we definitely touched on some Brown attributes and Brown, some Brown. We touched on some Brown. And
that's
what
I want to do for the shirts. I would actually want to defecate on a shirt. I would want to every time I take a brown shirt. Every time I had to shit, I would wipe my ass with the shirt, and that would be like you know how you go to like and you see these speaking of artisanal like like individually made by this person or like
that could
they would be one off. Every single one would be a unique piece because every single one would be different.
Well, as long
if my diet changes, you get like he was like eating a lot of carrots from 1968 to 1972. That's why it has an orange hue to it.
This is on the paleo diet. This is on the vegetarian diet.
Exactly.
I think there's literally.
And you could just sell those shirts.
But seriously, there's
idea.
literally a market and a niche market for those installations. You could do some art like that. You wouldn't be the first one who's done that.
No,
you just shit on something and call it art.
That's all art is.
Exactly. That's what's so beautiful about that statement. Is that you're totally you're trolling. Trolling is pretty awesome.
That shirt should say, "I'm not a doctor, but I am a pervert." That's what that shirt should say.
Exactly. Insert a pervert statement here. Yeah, I'm not a doctor.
If they wore that shirt, then I would maybe have some respect for them.
That would be really good. But that's like sometimes with on some janky stuff, you know. Some of the lyrics, I feel like they're so intricate and deep, like that, multi-levels, that you're you're never wasting them because people that appreciate them will still find them. The nuances, it's very nuanced. Shit is nuanced. That's what I learned from this podcast.
Good.
And life is nuanced.
Yeah.
And life is shit. Beautiful.
All right. Cut.
They gonna need a lighter candle to this one. Beef Janky, Jay Tessie. Today I realize with the sum of the sun, knowing these numbers can run up in your head can be fun. But where'd your time go? Acting so sublime, no state of mind equating, no wasting your damn time slow. Oh no, ain't no hitting rewind. Time to redefine and refine these elemental minds, vibrations through my spine. I'm feeling way up past the ceiling. Climbing that mountain air in a mountain, so there I said it. Motherfuckers killing for their bread, cause it all depends on scratching together the ends to amount them dividends. Saying the road to fame is through star-dusted chains, with a dash of passion running through my fucking veins. Now I'm never spoon-fed, I pump it straight from my heart out. Honestly, I need a mommy like Stefani, no doubt. Jankified, hopping them hurdles and catch us in the arrow star when we're handing out laurels.
Picture this, make it quick, suck a dick, fuck a chick, bring her back to your pad, break her heart and make her sad. Spitting someone's eye because you wanna see him cry. Don't complain when all of the shit in your life is lies. Yeah, take a drag, he's a fag, she's a bitch, he's a prick, she's a dyke, too uptight. But despite these facts of life, I bet you still like to lick her clit and grab her ass. Chauvinistic sarcasm is just an excuse for having no style and having no class. Getting bored, walk away, talking shit every day. Make a move back into the waters and remove your shoes. Cause I'm taking a trip down to the river.
But that's you're not saying it doesn't have to necessarily be like a sexual fetish.
On
or
a positive
perversion.
note, you're still eating peanuts.